A lot of influencers really like to glamorize this digital nomad lifestyle. Live anywhere, work anywhere, go to these beautiful countries and destinations, but the truth is, after living this lifestyle for just 2 months, I've noticed a lot of flaws in it, and I want to share those with you in this video. Sure, it's been a great experience, but there's a lot of stuff that these people just don't tell you about, and I think you should know about, especially if you're considering getting into this type of lifestyle. So let me explain to you what type of digital nomad I am and how I'm able to achieve this lifestyle. And in fact, if you go through this channel, you'll see almost all of the recent videos are posted in different places, and that's because I've been traveling pretty much non-stop for the past 2 months. Now for me, I'm actually a YouTuber, as well as a software engineer. I have this channel, which is a second channel that I just started, and a much larger channel where I teach coding and programming. That's my Tech with Tim channel. I make a lot of money online. I am not a broke digital nomad, and I can afford to live anywhere in the world, and cost of living is really not a huge consideration for me. The reason why I'm traveling to all these different places, and I'm going to be doing this actually for 6 months, is to look for a second place to live. My primary residence is in Dubai, and if you know anything about Dubai, in the summer it is extremely hot, and most people that have the means to will leave Dubai and live in another country, mostly somewhere in Asia or somewhere in South America. So I'm currently traveling all around Asia. I'm going to be doing this for 6 months, looking for a second place to live where I can set up a secondary home so I can escape to it in the summers when Dubai is too hot. That's my purpose, that's my goal. This is not meant to be something that's permanent, but even just doing this for a few months, I really noticed that this is not the lifestyle for me, and I want to be fully transparent with you guys because a lot of people make this seem like this is the goal, this is what you should be aiming for, and I really don't think that's the case for a majority of people. So why am I saying all of this? Well, there's a variety of reasons, but the first is that this really isn't a lifestyle that's sustainable, at least for me. I'm someone who's more of a serious entrepreneur. I get a lot of my value and a lot of my kind of happiness from actually working towards a goal and building something. When you live this digital nomad lifestyle, you're in a place for maybe a week, 2 weeks, at most maybe a month, and then you go and you change and you move somewhere else. Everything feels really transitory, and as soon as you build something up, you have a bit of a routine, you find a nice gym or a great restaurant to go to, all of a sudden you're flying over to the next country. Now I haven't been doing this for years, but even in the 2 months I've been doing it, it's really taken a hit on my productivity, and I've noticed that I just can't get as much done as I used to be able to. I feel like I'm really just sustaining the business that I have. I can't work towards my goals, I can't build what I want to because I'm constantly traveling, changing locations, and having to deal with so many aspects of my personal life because they just keep changing. For some people, that's great, but logistically, this is very challenging. You're spending hours upon hours every week, booking flights, finding accommodation, dealing with visa rules, figuring out how long you're going to be in a place, if you're going to meet up with a friend, if you're going to go to a different continent, what the price of flights are. It's very taxing mentally and takes a lot of time. Now, some of you might find fun in that, but after you do this for weeks upon weeks, and you're not just planning one vacation, but you're figuring out where you're going for months on end, it does get really exhausting, and there is just a lot of logistics and planning that goes into this. Now, beyond just the logistics and constantly changing locations, what I've really noticed is that when you're going to all these different places, you really put an emphasis on having fun and having all of these experiences over working on your various goals. Now, that's totally fine. This is a time in my life where I'm prepared to do that, but what ends up happening is you're constantly just looking for the next thing to do. You're trying to really experience the area that you're in. You're trying to cram in all these different activities in the few days or weeks that you have, and again, it really is taxing mentally, and although it's fun, it's incredible, I don't regret this at all, it's not something I could be doing long term. I see these digital nomads that have been doing this for 2, 3, 4 years, going to all these different locations, and I don't have any idea how they're able to sustain their business or work on their various goals or build some long-term stability when they're constantly changing areas and doing all of these crazy activities. When do they have time to work? When do they have time to actually focus? Maybe they're able to do that, but for me personally, it's too taxing mentally. I'm constantly changing my focus, and it's just very difficult to actually get stuff done. That's the biggest thing that I've noticed living this lifestyle. Another thing I've noticed is that most of the people you'll come across that are doing this, maybe they're staying in the same hostel as you, or you meet them at a bar or wherever it may be, they really do have that priority of fun over work. Their life is really just centered around trying to have that next experience, really living in the moment. And while that's totally fine, I don't look down upon anyone for doing that, it's kind of a different mindset from me. So I think for certain people, this is a really great life, it's really exciting, and you can really feel alive, but when you're trying to look more long-term and kind of build things and plan, which is really anymore how I live my life. It's just something that's kind of difficult to adjust to. So I'm happy I'm doing it. I'm learning a lot about myself, but it's not something I'll be doing long term after I finish these kind of 5 or 6 months of traveling around. Now, on a bit of a brighter note here, I do have to say that traveling around during these 2 months has been incredible in terms of the perspective it's given me and kind of the mindset shifts that I've had. Doing this and meeting so many incredible people and having all these great experiences and just immersing myself in some of the local culture. I've been in places like Bali, Thailand, Philippines, where I am right now, and you really do get to just see a different side of the world and understand how people live differently and the things that are important to them in different locations. Coming from North America, Canada specifically, life is completely different over here, and I think a lot of people are completely ignorant to that, and you really can get kind of wrapped up in that small circle of the geography that you live in, and when you escape that and get outside of it, it really is just eye-opening. It really makes you think about things differently, gives you a better perspective, and I think overall just makes you a more understanding and kind of kinder person. Now when I travel to different places, I'm just a lot more understanding of what's going on. I realize that this is not my home. Other people live here. I have to adjust to the culture. They're not going to adjust to me, and it really is a kind of fun and enlightening experience. I don't want to sound too spiritual or anything like that, but I can just tell you that going to all these different places, and I've been traveling a bit before this as well, it really just wakes you up as a human being and kind of shows you what's possible in life, where you could live, where you could be, things you could be doing, and things you never even thought existed if you just stayed trapped in that geographical bubble where you grew up. So those are a few thoughts that I've had living this digital nomad lifestyle for 2 months. I'm going to be continuing this for 6 months, and I'm going to update you guys along the way in the different places that I'm traveling to, what I think of them, and what I think of this lifestyle as I live it for a longer period of time. Overall, I just wanted to share with you my initial impressions. I think this is a really cool experience. I feel super grateful and privileged to be able to live this life. It's not something I think I want to do long term, but I'm really grateful to have these few months where I can really learn more about myself, understand what I like and dislike, and get a much broader perspective on the world. I would encourage anyone to do this experience, but to keep in mind that it's probably not something long term, at least for most people, and it really is going to take a hit on some of your goals and productivities and routines, which for me is really important and does really anchor a lot of important areas of my life. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I look forward to seeing you in another video.